All right, everyone. Hello and welcome to what is going to be the first episode of the Creative Rush podcast. I'm so happy to have you here, and I want to start out by asking you a question. Are you a freelance videographer that feels that they're incredibly talented, but you're frustrated because you don't know how to market yourself? You feel like you have a lot of untapped potential. You feel like you can do some really good work for clients, but you're having a really hard time getting your name out there and getting your name into other people's mouths when it comes to referrals and just getting your business off of the ground. If that is you, I can help. Now in this video, I'm going to show you how I got my first paid client in less than 1 week. And I'm going to be breaking down a framework that's going to eventually be condensed down into 3 steps that are going to be memorizable, that are going to be repeatable, and that you're going to be able to take a lot of action with. Now, I have gone ahead and tested these strategies in this framework with my own freelance business, Nomad Media, and I've gathered some clients, and it happened very quickly, and I'm going to show you exactly how I did it. Now, like I said earlier, I'm going to be breaking down a framework that has a ton of steps, so go ahead and stay tuned. But at the very end, I'm going to condense it into a 3-step process that you can go ahead and draw out if you would like to, or memorize, but I've found it to be incredibly effective. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes of what's going to get you a client in less than 1 week. Now, the first tip that I want to go ahead and share with you is you need to be making content that you're already very proud of. Something that you have no problem slapping your name on, something that you're proud to show other people, and that you really feel reflects your editing and your filming style. The next thing that we're going to want to do is break down exactly what your target audience or your clients want. And that is value. Your clients just want to know how you can benefit them. If you can provide that, you have a lot more conversations that can happen. Now, what I'm going to say next may come across as pretty controversial to a lot of people, and that is I would be 100% willing to do free work for 3 to 5 clients. I'm going to get into why that is so important in these coming steps. Now, when it comes down to finding where you can find these 3 to 5 clients that you're going to do free work for, Facebook is the perfect place. Facebook groups, I'm in Utah, so I use the Facebook group Connect Utah, and it worked perfectly because you've got a ton of different people with lots of different backgrounds, lots of different experiences, lots of different businesses that they own themselves, and they all want promotion. If you make a quick post in one of these Facebook groups, you title it the first sentence just to grab them, hey, I want to film you for free, then go ahead and break down who it is that you are, the fact that you're, either a beginning freelancer, beginning YouTuber, whatever freelance trade that you're trying to get work for, you're going to do it for free, and that you have a very select amount of slots that you can actually fill for people. Now, another method that would be very effective for getting free clients is to walk around your neighborhood, go to all of the mom and pop shops, because 1, they're small businesses, and 2, they love free promotion. So if you walk in there when they're not busy, of course, and they're not trying to juggle 9 million customers, and you let them know that you're there to add value for free, that you would like to film them a video, edit it, and then they can post it on their social media on their behalf, they are going to go crazy for that because it is free promotion. This is an amazing way to get your foot in the door with free clients. Now, the next thing is to make the process for your client that you're filming for free as easy as possible and with as little friction as possible. Now, what do I mean by that? If you put up a Facebook post or maybe even go in somewhere and they want free work done and you scored to that point, you've leveled up to the point where they're allowing you to represent their business in a video, you don't want to direct them to, oh yeah, go ahead and email me and I'll get to it sometime. They're either going to forget about it or there's going to be too many steps involved to actually have the work done and for you to get something locked into your portfolio. You want to treat them like an absolute concierge. You want to do all of the work for them because they're mentally notating how much friction there was in this process. 1, are you providing value? 2, are you doing this easily? 3, are you a good communicator? Are you representing yourself well? Are you bestowing enough trust that they're going to know that their business in a good place if you make a video promoting it? Now, I'm going to get into my story real quick on how I implemented these things and what came of it. I posted up in a Facebook group that was actually specific to tattoos and tattoo artists, and I put in a hook line that said, I love to film tattoo artists. And then in a little paragraph below it, I specified that I was a freelance videographer and a beginning YouTuber looking for experience in video editing, and I wanted to edit an awesome social media video for someone completely free of charge. I let them know I only had 3 slots available, and people jumped all over it. Now, when I went over there and I started filming, I let the guy know, the client that I was working with, that I was only going to be filming a piece of short form content between about 30 to 40 seconds for them, but that I did offer other services. Now I went ahead and I started filming, knowing in my brain that as I'm walking around, other tattoo artists are seeing what I'm doing and that they're going to eventually want a piece of what I'm doing. At the very end of the project, I was about 95% done, but I was going to show my client the video that I had edited to that point to see if he wanted any revisions before I exported it. The owner of the tattoo shop then went up to me and said, "Hey, do you mind if I see this video that you've made?" I said, "Of course." So I showed him. He was so blown away that I booked an appointment with him to make him a video after paid that very same day that I wanted to do that free shoot. Now that being said, the client that saw my video was so happy with it, and when I told him that I did other services as well, I let him know that I would do a mini documentary on him as well as the tattoo shop that he worked for and how he got into tattooing with a voiceover behind it. Since he was so blown away by my initial quality, he hired me right there on the spot for that long form video. So now I'm in there. I went in there for 1 free video. I'm walking out with 2 paid gigs that I'm going to do in the next 2 weeks. Now that brings us to the present as of a few days back, actually. I went in there and I filmed that video for the owner, and they loved that video so much that they let me know that they were having a car show in the near future, and they hired me for 3 more projects. So to keep track here, I went in for 1 free video. 2 weeks later, the same client and everyone surrounding it had hired me for 3 or 4 more projects based off of the free work that I had done. Now, when you hear this, please don't hear me trying to be egocentric or put myself on a pedestal. I am no better than anyone here. I'm just letting you know that if you go in and do free work for people and you do a good job at it, everyone that's surrounding that client is going to get FOMO, and they're going to want a piece of what you had to offer. That brings me to my next point, actually. You're going to want to target an audience that's going to allow a lot of peers watching what you're doing. If I had to think of a few just off the top of my head, hairstylists would be absolutely perfect. Tattoo artists. There's several other professions that people do where people work very closely with one another and they can see what you're doing. And your work, if it's done well, is going to spread like wildfire. But keep in mind the opposite of that. If you're showing up and you don't have experience, you're not presentable, you're not kind, you're not communicating well, you're giving weird vibes once you're there, that's also going to spread like wildfire. Whatever you bring to the table when you go to film these free gigs for clients is going to spread, good or bad. Now, by the time you're finished with filming 5 different business owners or 5 different people, free promotional videos, you should have 5 videos that you can then put into your portfolio, which brings me to my next thing is I would create a legitimate Facebook business page, because those people are going to want somewhere to leave reviews, and your reviews are what's going to allow your credibility to absolutely skyrocket. Also, from those 5 videos, the chances that you get referred indirectly or directly are like a 90% chance, or you're going to get a repeat client from someone that you've gone ahead and filmed for free. They're going to want you back. Direct meaning, hey, I know Sally with this place could really use a similar service and I love how you did. I love the pricing structure. Go to her. Versus indirect of just people seeing what you're doing and wanting a piece of that. You're subject to all of those good things by going in there and filming for free. Now, this is an obvious, but probably the most important tip. You're going to want to be very careful about how your personal brand looks, how you're dressed, how you present yourself, how you communicate, and if you do what you said that you were going to do for the client. They are going to remember all of these things, and if it's anything short of the promise that you made them, that is going to spread like wildfire. Now, the next thing that you're going to want to clarify with your client is any boundaries that you may have, whether that be with equipment, any services that you can't offer, any liability notices. Like for instance, I chase people all the time with my FPV drone. I've got to notify them prior that I've got a 600-gram drone going 60 miles an hour potentially, following cars as I'm doing this. The chances that I hit their car as I'm chasing them and I'm this far away, it's pretty substantially high. I haven't had it happen yet, but if it does happen, I don't want to pay for their car if I hit it. There's got to be a liability thing here. It's also the same liability that protects them from paying for your equipment if any of it were to go wrong. Now, the next tip that I want to bring up is your idea is not always the best idea. If you're going out and filming clients free videos, you're going to want to ask them what emphasis they would like the video to be about. If there's anything specific that they want to talk about, what they're looking for, if they could imagine their ideal promo video, what would that look like to them? Your job is to make their dream for their business or their personal brand come to life, not what you think is going to look cool. There's a difference between the client giving you complete creative freedom and doing something really cool with that versus you completely taking the reins and ignoring everything that they said about what they wanted to draw emphasis to and what they wanted the video to be about. By doing this, you're going to decrease the amount of revisions that you have afterwards. You're going to increase the amount of repeat customers that you get because they were happy with your product the first time, increase referrals, and amounts of recommendations that you get on Facebook. Now, the next thing is you need to be a quick communicator and you are going to get the gig. Now, I'm going to draw an example to this that happened to me recently because I believe it's incredibly applicable to the situation. When I originally created my YouTube channel, I reached out to a freelancer on Fiverr.com that I think that could have created the banner way better than I could have because I'm not a graphic designer. I ended up messaging probably 3, 4, 5 different people with the same reviews to get this job done. Guess who got the gig? The person that responded to me quickest and the person that maintained a level of quick communication throughout the process. They got it because no customer wants to waste their time playing cat and mouse with you and chasing you around everywhere. Make it easy for them. Now, I'm going to be breaking down all of these steps into 3 steps that you can go ahead and memorize going forward. And that is the first one, it's going to be making work that you are proud of, that you would absolutely slap your name on and get the basics down pat so that when you go into free client work, you're ready to go. The next step is doing free client work and having them be absolutely thrilled with what you were able to do for them. If they're fired up about it, they're gonna tell their friends about it. If they weren't fired up about it, you've dug yourself your own grave. Now, that's not to say that relationships can't be repaired, but that means that you need to go above and beyond to make sure they're happy with the outcome of the video that you made for them. Now, by this step, you should either have a repeat client or referrals. Now, as this video comes to an end, I want to summarize by letting you know that if you went through all of this framework and you still don't have a paid client, I would recommend doing this same framework all over again. Because in reality, what's happening is you've got a deck of cards being people, and when you flip each one over, they're all different. You may be doing flawless, amazing, customer-centric work for these clients, but they just simply wanted free work. You may go to some other clients that are fired up about your work and they're going to refer you and they're going to be repeat customers. Worst comes to absolute worst, you've gone through this framework and if you didn't get any rehires, you have 5 killer pieces of equipment that you'd proudly put your name on that can be in your portfolio. Now, if you have been following along and I've added a little bit of value to you, I'm gonna go ahead and put this entire framework in the description below, including the condensed version, so that if you want to copy and paste it, put it somewhere, edit it, revise it, use it as a tool, it's going to be there for you. As always, thank you so much for watching and please consider subscribing.